Hi. So, my gal Cathy is going to talk to us today about her gifts and her services and what exactly being a clairvoyant is like. So, I've learned a lot from her in the past year, learning what she's able to do and what it means for her clients. And she talks about a beautiful story that taught her a lesson in kindness when she was in elementary school. And she talks also about the best compliment that she ever received about her relationship. And I think it's really neat. I'm super excited to share this interview with you, and I hope you guys enjoy. Hello. So, the episode where I interview Cathy is sponsored by my friend Tani. And Tani is my yoga teacher, but she's so much more than a yoga teacher. She is really a leader in the community for connecting women, especially. And one of the really neat things she does a new moon circle, and it holds sisters space and it gives us time to meditate, journal, dance, share. And it's a really beautiful thing that she does. It's one of my favorite things I do during the year. She does these retreats where she organizes trips for ladies to go and connect, and she does them anywhere from Big Sur, California to faraway ones in Mexico or India. So I did one in Big Sur, and I got to sleep overnight in a teepee with some sisters, and it was just indescribably glorious. Um, so she specializes in working with women that are pregnant and giving birth and being in postpartum season. So women that are pregnant, she offers a blessing way, which is like, I guess it could be instead of a baby shower, but you can also do it in addition to your shower. So instead of focusing on gifts for your baby, it's like focusing on your transition into motherhood, and it's a sacred ceremony that she helps you and your loved ones do. It's really neat. She's a doula, so she can be with you and your partner when you're bringing your baby into the world. And I had a doula myself. I highly recommend having one, and I highly recommend Tawny as your doula. Finally, I want to let you know that she has postpartum services, anything from helping you with errands, watching baby while you nap or shower, to giving you yoga moves to heal your body. And she does special wraps for new mamas too. So check Tawny out. Tawny, thank you for supporting. And oh, she has a blog. It's really, really enjoyable. I totally love everything about her and would love for you to follow Tawny on social media and on her newsletter. Thanks. All right. Hello, Kindness fans. This is our episode with Cathy Weiss. Cathy is someone that I met about a decade ago. She is my beloved yoga teacher, and she brought so much joy and amazingness into my life. And now she has shifted, and she is guiding people with her clairaudient and clairvoyance gifts. I cannot wait for you guys to listen to her and what she has going on. Cathy, thank you so much for talking to us today.
Oh my goodness, Claire, this is like just such a joy, and like an honor to be on your podcast today. So, yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. I wanted to start at the beginning. Growing up, how did you learn how to be kind?
I loved that you asked this question because I really had to take a moment and think about it. And I was like, I don't know that I was really specifically taught how to be kind, but then I remembered a moment or a story that happened in sixth grade that changed everything for me. So, as you know, because we've met in person, but for people who are listening, I'm very petite. I'm not even 5 feet tall. So, growing up, I was constantly teased and made fun of and called all kinds of names, and it hurt really bad. But, as a child, you don't realize that other people can feel the same way as you. So, I thought I was the only person that would feel sad and hurt from being made fun of. And in sixth grade, a whole bunch of kids were also picking on another boy. And one day our teacher said, "You guys are not going out to recess because Tom is going to get up and talk to you." And he This big, strong sixth grade boy started crying in front of our class, talking about how us making fun of him was hurting his feelings and he wanted us to stop. And I just had this moment like, oh my God, other people hurt and feel hurt the way I do when we're being unkind. And it just like, it helped me understand that you never really know somebody's internal experience, but chances are if you're not being kind to them, they're not having a very pleasant internal experience. And it really taught me to, from that point on, and that's, I'm human. I'm sure I've messed up along the way, but it really taught me to keep that in mind.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Um, I I took your yoga classes, and it was actually it wasn't your typical yoga class. It was an incredible combination. It was called Yoga Flirt. It was a combination of the sensuality of pole fitness and the wisdom of yoga combined.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite things about Yoga Flirt was the beginning. You would say, imagine there's a paintbrush that you're painting positive energy over your body, and you'd take us through our body parts. And at the end, we would say namaste, and we would bow our heads to you and to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like it was this whole new world to me. And then being in your class every week was an amazing gift. And then I saw your postings on Facebook about your new business and your website, and I signed up as soon as I heard about it, that you were doing these offerings, and I came and you did a reading for me, and I was like, oh, Cathy, this is amazing. I want to know if you can tell us about your clairvoyant readings.
Absolutely, I can. And I want to start by making sure that people know what the word clairvoyant means. Because
Mhm.
even for me, like a little over a year ago, someone said to me, oh, Cathy, you're clairvoyant. And I was like, what? No, that's weird. That's like some old lady with a crystal ball and like the one earring. And they didn't really understand what it was. So the word clairvoyant means clear seeing. And all it means is that because I'm a highly sensitive person, I can feel other people's energy fields from greater distances. And when I feel their energy field, which science has measured, so we know that this is real, I get an image in my mind. And that's all clairvoyance is me feeling your energy and then seeing a symbolic image in my mind. Or sometimes I hear words, which you mentioned clairaudient. It's the same thing. I'm translating your energy into words in my mind. So when I have a reading with someone, before we get together, I sit down and tune into their energy, and I write down all the notes of the images I've seen and the words I've heard and the messages that come through for them. And I also intuitively know, based on what I have felt in your energy, if you do these 2 or 3 or 4 things, you're going to start to feel better in life and start to move forward. So during a session, we get to go over all of those things that are going on in your energy and what you can do to make progress or get unstuck. And now my clients also get an action step success sheet where we list the things that they're going to do and when they're going to start and what happens as a result. And it's pretty darn awesome.
Yeah, it wasn't very ambiguous, like, oh, go love your husband. It was very detailed. And you said, Claire, go to this woman's YouTube link, and this is the specific meditation I want you to do. This is what I want you to focus on. I want you to have this crystal, burn this smell. I want you to send this text to your loved one. I want you to do these exercises. I want you to do this vacation. And it was like really specific, amazing guidance.
Yeah, so I'm different from other card readers or psychics or energy workers in that ways. I'm not just giving you a nice, fluffy, happy, loving message that feels really good. Because I can't wave a magic fairy wand to make your life all better. You have to participate in it. And so that's really what makes me unique from other readers is that really specific, like, you need to do this. And it's different guidance for every single person based on their energetic needs.
So you said a while back that you can feel people's energy and that scientifically, I listened to your other podcast. You said
Yeah.
scientifically people put out energy 5 feet that scientists measure.
Yes.
And I'm doing this podcast to teach people how to be kind to others, and kind has to do with how to make people feel cared for and heard and listened to. So
Hmm.
you said that you're out and about and you run into a friend and you say, "How you doing?" And she says, "Oh, I'm fine, I'm good." And you know that that's not exactly true and
Hmm.
something isn't okay with her,
Hmm.
but you'll say to yourself, well, she doesn't want to say right now, so I'm not going to make her uncomfortable. So that's being kind and listening to her.
Exactly. And number two, because I also practice a high degree of morals and ethics with my gifts and abilities, I'm not going to read someone's energy without their permission. Like that's sort of like rude and invasive to me. So it's really about respecting someone else and what their comfort level is.
Yeah, so people that are coming to you are going to feel safe and able to open up to you and share what's on their hearts.
Exactly.
Speaking of hearts, you have an amazing marriage. You guys have been together, and I think I met your husband at a yoga flirt event at the carnival that you did to raise money for a friend and student that was struggling with cancer treatments, and he
Hmm.
was there welcoming people, and he just was like, it was so neat to meet him, and he was there at the Halloween events making sure that we were safe signing in and getting out and stuff. You also do your tradition is Thanksgiving. You don't do turkey and mashed potatoes and gravy. You're like, oh, we like to keep it special and do appetizers and wine and spend time together. And I'm like, oh, you guys have such a sweet marriage and you travel together. I want to know how you spread kindness in your relationship and also how you make sure that you're being a kind wife and also kind to Cathy.
Hmm. One of the greatest compliments I've ever received in regards to my marriage actually came from my father-in-law, who passed 6 weeks after we got married. So it was while we were still dating. And he said, I know you're going to be a successful couple because you're polite to each other. And we're just now coming up on what we call our met anniversary, and it'll be 19 years since we met. And to this day, that's really a key cornerstone. And I think people don't believe me when I say, we're nice. We treat each other like we love each other. So there's always please and thank you and can I get you something and what can I do to make your day better? And I love you all the time. And we have a rule that when one of us is leaving the house, we always kiss because, God forbid, knock on wood, you never know when that's going to be the last time you part. And every time the one of us gets home, there's a kiss because it's like, a gratitude for the reunion, right? And it's about really understanding how special it is that we have each other. The other piece of it that's a little bit harder to explain, and is a part of the work that I do, is I believe that all of us have a soul's purpose. Like we all have a soul with a purpose. And if you don't know what your soul's purpose is, I have a kind of groovy gift of helping people uncover that. And I recognize that my soul's purpose and my husband's soul purpose have things to do together, but we also have things to do separately. And it's my job not to learn his life lessons for him, not to beat him over the head when he needs to learn life lessons, but to allow him to live his soul's purpose. And he's an artist and a designer. So I have to create the space and the freedom for him to do that. And then he also does that for me, right? It's his job to support me in like all of these sort of unexpected twists and turns in my career life as well. And he doesn't try to learn my life lessons for me. So it's like we have to be really compassionate and patient watching another soul learn their life lessons.
um, I want to shift gears. I had this
Do it.
question that I thought would be really good to ask you.
Yeah.
I I'm sure most people have cried at work, and I want to ask you, how do you Do you want to speak to what happens if you're crying at work or if someone around you is crying? Do you want to speak to that?
I will, absolutely. So right now I'm in a non-traditional work environment, right? I work from home and I see clients from home and I work digitally. Um, so I don't have colleagues around me, right, as far as that goes. But when I owned the Yoga Flirt studio, I did. And that was also unique because it was an all-female environment. And I think that females are a lot more um, understanding when other females cry. But I think where the misunderstanding is, or where it can be difficult, is that not everyone understands the purpose of tears or why women, especially women, I'm sure men do too, cry is a lot of times it's a stress response. So when our stress and our fear and our anxiety rises, we might start crying. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that because we know that tears contain stress hormones. And so if we cry and we release the stress, we're actually going to feel better and be able to get productive and back on track. So I would love to see a world where women or anybody crying at work wasn't viewed negatively, but just as a like, okay, she's stressed out. Let's, support her and hear her out. Not try to fix it, right? Because fixing it isn't necessarily the thing that needs to happen. More like it just needs to be allowed, like any other emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And it's temporary. If somebody's crying, they are not literally going to cry forever. So it's like, again, it's like just some compassion and some space for humans to be human.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, space. I feel like the people that cry around me are constantly apologizing and oh, my dad died and I'm talking about him. I'm so sorry. I don't need to do this now. I'm like, no, I love you, so please
Exactly.
yourself. um Speaking of, what is the best way to comfort someone who's upset or hurt? And when you're upset or hurting, how can you tell others? How can you be a good communicator?
I think one of the most important things you can do is ask what they need, right? Because when people are grieving or upset or whatever, they have different needs. Some people want to be held and have a hug. Some people don't. No, like, no, don't touch. Like, I just need to do my thing. So asking what someone else needs and then just being able to deliver that is the kindest thing. They might need you to listen. They might need a hug. They might need you to walk away and go in the other room. So I think the most important thing is asking. And then if it's on the other side, if I'm the one who's having a moment, because I have my moments like everybody else, is to be able to say what I need. I need a hug. I need you to listen. I don't need you to fix this. I do need your advice, whatever it might be.
Um, I have written this question down for you, and you said that you'd answer it for me. What is there not enough of in this world?
Joy.
Yeah, yeah.
100% joy. There's a lot of focus on love and compassion and these are all great things and happiness, but joy is at the top of the emotional and vibrational scale and frequency. And I don't think there's enough focus on joy, which equates with feelings of freedom and alignment.
That's a feeling that I experienced at your yoga studio when you had us write down on a piece of paper, what does being here make you feel like? And I said euphoric and joyful.
Ah, I love it.
Ugh. And then when I had my girls, I was so happy holding them and so in love, but it was like a time of loneliness being away from my work friends and being away from my girlfriends. And I felt like I really was missing joy. And recently I got back to doing softball games with my buddies and, going out for brunch to have champagne with my best girlfriend. And
Hmm.
like, it's like, yes, a really good thing to focus on being proactive about bringing into your life. And you're
Exactly.
really, you're really good about being playful and um, helping share with your listeners and viewers how you're doing it and how they can bring it into their lives.
Yeah, I try.
Like we we're doing a reading and your little puppy comes in and you're like, oh, little puppy, you're not like, get out of here.
No, she's my co-healer. We want her to come in and share the love. Absolutely.
You're such someone that loves to laugh and be fun loving and make people around you feel good. So what has life taught you recently?
To get out from behind the screen and spend more time in real life with people, because it's really easy, especially if you're an introvert like myself, it's so easy to just do all of your interactions on text and email and FaceTime. And there is something so valuable and so different about an in-person interaction. And there's more magic, I think, that happens when we're in person with people that can't happen in these like disjointed, stilted conversations that we're moving towards having more often with each other. So that's like a big thing for me, is like more in person, more in real life, to the point where even for me, it's a little bit like I'm a little scared and nerve-wracked about it, but I'm creating my first live event with the work that I'm doing as a clairvoyant and an intuitive, because I value that. I want people together, and I want us in the same room, and I want to be able to hug people and have that.
Oh my goodness, sign me up, whatever it is, whenever it is.
I knew you would. I knew I would be like, Claire's going to be like #1 on the list.
Oh
I
my
totally will.
gosh.
Yeah.
Lucky us. Okay. So yeah, speaking of in person, you do a lot more LOLs in person than you do on the screen. And when I'm around you, it's like my senses are engaged. I'm like, Cathy, you smell good. And we're just like, our, I think some hormones must be released. Like,
Yeah.
when babies are born and they release hormones, and then when you're
Yes.
around loved ones, hormones are released. It's like,
Yes.
not the same when you're looking at a screen. So.
It's not. And some of that is, again, energy. So if I could take a moment to drop it back into describing energy, like you said, we have this electromagnetic field that extends away from our body. And even if you're not aware of it and you don't understand it, you don't know how it works, you can feel other people's energy when you are in close proximity to them. And when you've got someone who is in a high vibrational place, right? Like I really make, like you said, I make an effort to be really joyful and playful and laugh a lot and have a positive outlook, that is emanating off my body, and you can feel it and you feel affected by it. So it's not even so much about the hormones as it is my electromagnetic vibration bumping up against yours like ripples in a pond and causing those ripples to get higher.
So I feel like I have really good intuition, and on the other side, when there's an uh-oh feeling,
Yeah.
rarely I'll get it, and I can't say this is exactly what's going on, but I had a feeling when some male at my office came up and asked me for a hug. I got that uh-oh feeling, and I love giving hugs. But
Yeah.
then later on, so it came to light that he had lied on his application. He actually had a criminal past, yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like I didn't want to go and hug him, and that was really rare for me. So I kind of can go the other way, feeling not good energy too.
100%. And we have that like internal sense, spidey sense thing for a reason, right? Like your senses were protecting you even if you didn't know from what. And that's why I always encourage people to trust that, because
Yes,
you
yes, yes.
didn't know why, but you just knew something about that situation wasn't right. And trust that, like, and don't make excuses and don't apologize, just like, no thank you.
So I'm leading a kindness podcast, and I aim to have a kind life. But that doesn't mean that I have no boundaries and that you can
Correct.
treat me any way you want.
Correct.
Um, so your service that you offer, you're on the Central Coast of California, but you don't have to live in the Central Coast to get your readings. You could hop on your website,
Mm-hmm.
schedule something, and you guys could do this. And you can literally feel them and feel their energy if they're in Australia or the UK, and you can do this with them.
Anywhere in the world.
Okay. Is there anything that I forgot to bring up that was on your heart and mind that you wanted to speak to my listeners today? I had a little note to
Yes.
ask you for a little tip for our listeners if they wanted to grow their lives in.
Grow their capacity for kindness.
Yeah, other than that, was there anything you wanted to bring up today?
Yeah, let's talk about the capacity for kindness. Kindness is like anything else. It's like a muscle that you have to exercise and work. And I would say the first thing to do, though, is pay attention to how you feel when you interact with people. Because again, we're all human. We all sometimes make snap judgments, or we get tired and cranky and we say things that we don't mean, that could be hurtful to someone else. And rather than being hard on yourself and beating yourself up, it's like just notice how you felt when you did that, so that next time you make a better decision.
It's great advice.
Right? Because we all do. I mean, even there's we all say things we didn't feel good about, or do things we didn't feel good about, but that's just an indicator to next time not do it, so that then we can move more in the direction of joy.
We're about the same age. You're only a year or so above me, but I feel like I look up to you so much, and you're such a mentor for being someone in my age group. And whether you
Thanks.
have a little bit of advice like, oh, you have insomnia, do legs up the wall, do this, it's like, oh, you are such an amazing friend to have in my life. And I'm so excited to introduce my friends and my listeners to you, because I know that they would benefit from having you in their life in any way. So, um, oh, and then I wanted to also bring up that I did a
Yes.
reading from you, and you were like, Claire, you are really good at your job as a receptionist where you work, but bigger things are coming your way, and you're going to use your gifts in different ways soon. And that reading sparked me to create my website and create my business. And so for that day, I'm so glad I made the decision to go see you.
See, there you go. Exactly that. Helping people live their life and soul's purpose. Because, Claire, you are literally one of the kindest people I know. Right? And like you said, we've known each other for a really long time. And when you reached out and said, I'm doing this kindness podcast, I was like, there is nothing more aligned with Claire than the kindness podcast. So exactly it. Like, and that's what I would say to the listeners. If you're struggling to know your life's purpose, or you're feeling stuck or uncertain, and you want to start moving forward and creating bigger, more exciting things for your life, I can help.
Yeah, do it, do it. Okay, so Cathy, if someone wants to get in touch with you, what's your handle on social media, and where should they go to find your website?
My website is Cathy-Weiss.com, and that's Cathy with a C. The last name is WEISS.com. On Facebook, I'm Lightworker Cathy Weiss. On Instagram, it's Lightworker_Cathy. I'm also on YouTube, and I'm working on getting a customized YouTube handle here really soon. So maybe we can add that in the show notes when it happens.
Absolutely. And then the final mention on your Facebook page,
Yes.
you do these things where you do Monday readings, and you pull cards and do readings, and people can
Yes.
interact with you over there, and it's super neat. You also put little crystals out and ask people how the stones are speaking to them. So like if you don't want to commit to a session with Cathy straight up, you can go check her out and get to know her on Facebook. And I totally think you'll be really excited about what's going on over there.
Yeah, we do have a lot of fun on Facebook. I make Mondays really fun because all that good stuff happens on Monday. So I'm like trying to like infuse people's week with some of that joy and good energy.
Yay! I'm so happy to know you, Cathy. Thanks for everything.
My pleasure, Claire.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, you guys. So I wanted to let you know that I actually did get invited to Cathy's Joy event, and I signed up, and I brought my mom too, and it was amazing. You guys, it was just filled with so much joy from the second it started. It started with a sage cleansing, bubbles, happy music, and glitter spray in our hair and on our shoulders. And I would highly recommend you hop on her newsletter anywhere you are in the world, but especially if you're San Luis Obispo County or California. So you would have the be on the invite list and be the first to be able to sign up for her next event. And also wanted to let you know, she at YouTube got her special name. So she's Cathy Weiss, Weiss, the Joy Healer. You have to check her out, and you'll be so happy that you are learning from my mentor, Cathy. Okay, have a great week, guys. Bye.